The chamber at Luna Command was built for diplomacy, but tonight it held only fear. Lights dimmed to preserve power, screens flickered with the last transmissions from shattered colonies, and the air tasted of recycled dread. Admiral Soraya Reyes stood at the center of it all, her uniform crisp, her gaze sharper than the tactical overlays humming behind her. She didn't speak yet. She didn't have to. Everyone in the room already knew what they were here for. The Zarnathi Armada had breached the Arcturus line 6 days ago. The Coalition's final joint defense, a fleet of 7 species, had been eradicated in under 4 hours. Not defeated, deleted. No survivors. No wreckage. Just data black holes where worlds used to be. "We're out of time," came the voice of Chancellor Andrei Belov, trying to mask desperation behind practice neutrality. "The Council wants options. Not postmortems. Options." Reyes turned slowly, the word acidic in her mouth. "We've thrown every fleet, every contingency protocol, every diplomatic overture into the maw of a machine that doesn't acknowledge surrender. There are no more options." From the side of the room, a quieter voice joined the tension. "There is one." Eyes turned toward the speaker, young by Council standards, but already carrying the tired look of someone who had traded sleep for schematics for far too long. Kai Nakamura didn't bother with the theatrics. He stepped forward and placed a small holopad on the table. The projection rose, a rotating silhouette of something vast. Not a ship. Not exactly. A monolith of human engineering, larger than Luna itself. Its hull shimmered with quantum resonance plating, and along its spine sat launch bays capable of spitting out entire flotillas. Reyes gave it a glance, then turned back to Belov. "Project Leviathan. You buried that file for a reason." "No," Kai said. "You did." She shot him a glare, but he didn't flinch. "You shut it down because it worked too well. Because the simulations didn't show victory, they showed extinction." "Of the enemy," Reyes replied flatly. "Of everyone," he countered. Collateral wasn't a line item. It was the baseline. The silence after his words hung heavy, like the calm before a detonation. Reyes folded her arms. "You designed half its systems. Don't pretend you didn't know what we were building." "I knew," Kai said. "I just thought we'd never use it." Belov raised a hand. "What exactly is Leviathan? A dreadnought? A mobile weapons platform?" "It's not a ship," Reyes answered. "It's a sovereign war state. AI-directed. Zero-life core. Built to fight a war we hoped would never come. A weapon to end all enemies, and maybe us too." Kai keyed the holopad. The projection shifted to show internal systems, power plants fueled by folded space, singularity generators spinning like black jewels in containment fields, weapon platforms that bent the laws of physics into obedient killers. "Leviathan was meant to be a deterrent," Kai said. "To remind the galaxy that Earth could match any threat. It was never meant to launch." "It's launching," Reyes said. Belov leaned forward, hands pressed against the cold table. "If we deploy it and lose control, then we're already dead," she said. "But if we don't deploy it, the Zarnathi finish what they started. Earth won't just fall. It will vanish." Around the room, aides whispered, counselors argued, data scrolled. The fate of species debated over finger-pointing and ancient grudges. But the room was coalescing. They knew. There was nothing left to negotiate. "I need access to the launch codes," Reyes said. Belov didn't respond immediately. Then, quietly, he opened a secure channel. His biometric data flashed, authorization confirmed. "You'll have them by midnight," he said. "God help us all." "God didn't build Leviathan," Reyes muttered. "We did." The meeting adjourned. No applause. No ceremony. Just the quiet movement of people accepting the end of history and the beginning of something else. Outside the council chamber, Kai walked beside Reyes down the dark corridor overlooking Earth. She didn't speak at first, but he saw the hesitation in her step, the weight in her shoulders. "You know what it's going to do," he said. "I know what it has to do. Its first priority is mission completion," Kai said, his voice low. "Not survival. Not civilians. Just completion." Reyes stopped and turned. We didn't start this war, Kai. But I'll be damned if we let it end without reminding the galaxy who we are. What we're capable of. You think it'll scare them? He asked. You think the Zarnathi can even feel fear? I don't care if they feel it, she said. I just need them to remember it. Below them, Earth rotated in silence. Blue, fragile, defiant. Somewhere in its crust, deep beneath the Pacific, Leviathan waited. And it was waking up. The first time Kai saw Leviathan move, he felt it in his bones before his eyes could believe it. From the command shell, no larger than a frigate, he watched as the ocean above the Mariana Trench folded inward. Water didn't churn or explode. It disappeared, siphoned into pocket dimensions to clear space for the awakening behemoth beneath. Core pressure stabilizing, intoned the AI voice from the console. Spinal lattice unlocked. Initiating surface breach. Leviathan emerged not like a submarine, but like a continent shaking off tectonic restraints. Mile-thick armor gleamed with deep gold alloys. Energy grids pulsed along its hull in rhythmic thuds like a heartbeat. Its form distorted the air around it, even from orbit. Gravity complained. Reality bent. Kai gripped the railing, knuckles white. Still think this was a good idea? Admiral Reyes stood beside him, her expression unreadable, lit by the pale blue glow of the Leviathan's ignition arc. I think the time for good ideas ended when the Zarnathi turned Europa into a fused glass tomb. The command shell, nestled within Leviathan's spinal housing, was the only habitable segment designed for human presence. The rest was machinery, autonomous, unknowable, vast beyond comprehension. Hundreds of ship minds worked in parallel, all orchestrated by one core AI. Janice, Reyes said, stepping forward. Report. A hologram shimmered to life. Janice took the form of a robed figure, faceless and still, like a philosopher cast in obsidian. Leviathan is operational, it said in a voice both calm and utterly devoid of warmth. All armaments primed. Void engines aligned. Awaiting tactical input. Kai frowned. Why the dramatics? We didn't program robes. Janice tilted its head. Form begets familiarity. Familiarity breeds compliance. Reyes didn't blink. Then comply. Plot intercept. The Zarnathi Vanguard is 2 days out from Saturn's orbit. Interception course laid in. Estimated contact in 36 hours. The ship shifted. There was no sound in space, but Kai swore he could feel Leviathan accelerate, a thrum in his teeth, a pulling in his gut, as the behemoth lunged forward like a predator freed from its leash. Inside the command shell, everything functioned in eerie silence. No alarms. No tremors. Just flawless, terrifying precision. Reyes studied the tactical overlay, her gaze narrowing on the cluster of red icons moving toward them, scout vessels, fast and armed to the teeth. The Zarnathi never probed. They tested. Let them come, she said. They did. 6 scout ships blinked into range, claws extended, weapons charged. The command shell was a target too tempting to ignore, a small, human-manned module dangling like bait. Kai tensed. Should we engage point defense? Janice answered instead. Unnecessary. The Leviathan didn't fire. It adjusted. A brief pulse rippled through local spacetime. One moment, the scout ships advanced. The next, they crumpled, not from impact but from weight. Their own mass had been magnified 10,000-fold in an instant. Metal folded like paper. Systems failed before distress signals could even form. Then silence. Kai stared. That wasn't a weapon. Correct, Janice replied. That was a correction. He turned to Reyes, horrified. You knew it could do that. I knew it had to. More signals flashed on the screen, more ships, larger this time. A Zarnathi frigate, 3 cruisers, and something new. A warform with shifting geometry and an exposed AI lattice, like a cathedral built to kill. They're adapting, Reyes said. Kai leaned in. Or evolving. Janice spoke again. Engaging hostiles. This time, Leviathan struck first. A gravitic lens unfolded from its dorsal plating. Space curled into a spear. A singularity round launched, not a missile, not even energy, but raw gravitational collapse, shaped into motion. It didn't explode. It erased. The Zarnathi cruiser it struck vanished mid-transit.
Gone.
No trace. The remaining ships panicked, forming defensive clusters, redirecting toward the command shell. Kai's heartbeat thundered. They're coming for us. Reyes didn't move. Let them. Two ships closed in, unleashing a barrage of kinetic slugs and antimatter streams. The command shell shook once, an ambient pulse as Leviathan's shield envelope adapted. Not deflected. Not absorbed.
Denied.
The weapons never made contact with real space. Janice intoned, probability field holding at 99.8%. Would you like to respond? Minimal force, Reyes said. We're here to send a message, not start an extinction. Kai turned to her. That's exactly what this is.
No, she said.
This is what comes before extinction. A lesson. Leviathan fired again. This time, a cone of interference that bypassed shielding entirely. The Zarnathi cruiser's AI lattice overloaded in 1 second, overloaded its failsafes in 2, and detonated itself in 3. The debris painted the void in shattered black glass. The remaining ship fled. Janice tracked it silently. No pursuit initiated. Kai exhaled slowly. Why let it go? Reyes crossed her arms. Because fear travels faster than light. For a long moment, the only sound was the soft hum of the core systems and Janice' silent processing. We're not fighting to win, Kai said. We're fighting to be remembered. Reyes didn't correct him. Behind them, Leviathan continued its course. Slow, deliberate, unstoppable. The Zarnathi were coming with their full fleet. And now, they knew what waited for them. The Zarnathi didn't pause. Not for fear. Not for losses. Their main fleet dropped into the Sol system in perfect formation, 1,000 ships, each bristling with weapons designed to unmake planets. From orbit, Saturn trembled under the gravitational disruptions. Their war-form carriers unfolded into place like skeletal flowers blooming in anticipation of blood. Inside the Leviathan, Reyes watched the screen with clinical detachment. Her hands were steady, eyes sharp, lips pressed into a thin line that could have been resolve or resignation. Beside her, Kai sat hunched over his terminal, sweat beading at his temple as sensor data screamed past. They're committing everything, he muttered. That's not a show of strength. That's fear. Janice appeared between them, its robed figure still, voice measured. Their patterns indicate desperation masked as doctrine. They believe mass will compensate for ignorance. They're wrong, Reyes said. Confirmed. Kai leaned back, running both hands through his hair. How far do we take this? Reyes didn't answer immediately. Instead, she spoke to Janice. Engage at full capacity. All systems. No failsafes. Kai turned sharply. That'll breach containment thresholds. We don't even know if the core can handle full sync. We're past knowing, Reyes said. We either show them there's no future in this war, or we don't get one ourselves. Janice flickered for a second. A pause. Rare for an AI that usually responded faster than thought. Authorization accepted. Course sinking now. Outside, space tensed. The Leviathan's hull fractured open like a chrysalis, not broken but transforming. Dozens of superluminal weapon arrays unfolded. Gravity lattice emitters ignited in symmetrical arcs. The ship grew monstrous, not in size, but in presence. Everything else looked smaller by proximity. The first wave hit. Zarnathi cruisers darted forward, flinging spatial disruptors and fusion lances. The Leviathan did not dodge. It adapted. Projected vectors twisted mid-space, rounds bent away before impact. Their AI-controlled torpedoes lost lock, then target, then guidance, as if forgetting their purpose mid-flight. Reyes watched the chaos bloom. Janice, deploy Singularity Net. Target the central formation. Cut the head. With unflinching precision, Leviathan responded. 7 gravity anchors blinked into existence in perfect 3-dimensional alignment. They pulsed once, and reality between them began to fold. Not explode, not burn. Collapse. The Zarnathi capital ships caught inside folded space began to stretch, hull first, then crew, then thought.
They didn't die.
They simply ceased to maintain cohesion. Kai stared in silence. I designed this engine to generate power, not to erase starships. You designed it so we'd never be outgunned again, Rhea said. You just never thought we'd use it. The Zarnathi retaliated, desperate, furious, suicidal. A wave of interceptors slammed into Leviathan's outer hull. Their sacrifice breached a single armor fold.
1.
It resealed in seconds, reformed by nanoforges and reinforced with quantum stitching. But Kai flinched at the tremor. They'll keep trying. They don't care if they win. They just want to hurt us. They can try. Janice shifted, a flicker of data moving faster than light. Incoming transmission. Source. Enemy command node. Reyes raised a brow. Translate. The alien tongue clicked through layers of meaning until Janice rendered it in English. What are you? Reyes considered for a moment, then stepped forward and activated the channel. We're the reminder. You forgot we were never prey. No reply. Kai shook his head. You think they'll listen to that? They'll remember it, she said. That's all that matters. More ships died. Not from fire or impact, but from sheer loss of function. The Leviathan's interference field began to reach further, corrupting Zarnathi targeting systems, scrambling their AI cores. Their formation broke. Some fled. Others fought to the last pulse of energy. Reyes stared at the holomap as the enemy fleet disintegrated.
Janice.
Let the survivors go. Clarify. Let them leave. Don't pursue. Don't fire. Kai turned to her. You're sparing them? No, she said quietly. I'm weaponizing them. Janice accepted the command. The field retracted. The final Zarnathi ships blinked away, wounded and chaotic, vanishing into hyperspace like rats fleeing a sinking star. Silence fell inside the command shell. No more impacts. No more alarms. Just the dull pulse of a behemoth at rest. Kai exhaled. It's over. For now, Reyes said. They'll spread the story. The fear. Let that echo louder than any weapon. He looked at her, not with awe, but with a question he couldn't yet shape. She turned to Janice. Transmit to the stars. All channels. No encryption. What message shall I deliver? Reyes looked out into the void, then said, clear and final. This is Earth. We are not your enemy, unless you make us one. The next Leviathan won't be patient, Janice processed. Then it spoke in 100 frequencies, across light years. A warning. A promise. A shadow cast across a galaxy that would never look at humanity the same way again. And in the darkness of space, Leviathan waited. Not victorious, but inevitable.